wipe down each of the lenses right before you're going to shoot. Okay, so when you're ready to shoot, it may, especially if you're doing like dramatic pieces and you have a crew with you, or you have a director or producer with you, you may be wondering where you can hide your director or your crew without being in the shot of a 360. How are you making sure you're getting that shot that you're trying to achieve if you aren't there to monitor and make sure everything's going okay? There's a couple of ways I think that you can achieve this. One would be if you have control of your environment and you're shooting a dramatic scene, is to get in there beforehand, before you have your actors present, before you have your subjects, and shoot a clean plate of the room. Make sure there's no one in the room, just get a clean plate where there's no one present, nothing going on. Because then later in post, you can use that empty room and lay it over, composite it on the page right now. So that's the clip that should be going up online.
Is there a single audio channel that goes with that? When you put it
Oh, it's picked, so I can choose which GoPro is the main audio channel. But yeah, so it's just getting audio from one of the GoPros.
When you step into Giga, how do you specify where all that work is applied to?
So when I step into Giga, because it's applying globally.
Oh, good.
It's applying globally to your stitch. So actually, that brings up a good point. Depending on what's happening in your scene, you may stitch your scene differently. So if you had a subject closer to the camera, you may not want to stitch for when the subject is far away if you're not using that section of the clip, because it's going to be a little bit different. What I usually do when I'm working with a lot of clips that I'm editing, I'll just bring it straight through video, and I won't even take it into Giga. And I'll edit my quick stitches that way in Premiere. And then once I've made my selects of what sections I want to include in my final piece, I'll mark the time code, I'll go back into Auto Panel Video in Giga, and I'll fix the stitches for those specific moments in time. That way I know I'm getting the best stitch possible for the sections of the clips that I've chosen. And then I match them up with Premiere. Yep, exactly.
How do you use your stitching experience to decide how to place your camera in a room?
So that comes down to trying to figure out where your point of interest is and trying to match, so keeping your point of interest limited within a single lens if you can, and not putting anything too close to the rig, because once things get close to the rig, you kind of have to make the sacrifice of choosing, am I going to stitch for what's in the foreground or am I going to stitch for what's in the background?
It would also look like it was pretty important to think ahead of time of where your horizontal references are going to be.
So
This is a pretty difficult room.
yeah, so actually with the Freedom 360, that's actually not too much of a concern, because I can always adjust that in post. That can always be adjusted with the Move tool. With the Odyssey, you don't have the freedom of adjusting that after the fact. So I have to make sure that this is level before I start shooting. So one of the required tools of going out and shooting with this is a leveler. Make sure it's completely level, because if it's offset, because I'm not doing the stitching myself, it's being done by Google servers, I don't have the freedom of adjusting that horizon line. But with this camera, I could shoot it from any position like this, and I would have the freedom to rotate the horizon line any way I wanted.
Can you change the stitching patterns on the different cameras?
The stitching patterns mean like where it's.
When I saw 6 different cameras, they had these weird shapes, different patterns. That you had to stitch. Can you change the vector of that?
I can change which camera is dominant, because there's overlapping parts of the image. I can change which camera is dominant where the stitch lines meet. So that's a tool called the masking tool right here.
But not like those right there. That's a camera pattern right there, right? So
right.
Can you change that pattern to be as oval or something?
No.
They're all.
Yep, that's what they are. But I mean, I can change which camera is dominant within that image. So if I wanted this camera, because right now it's meeting between on these 2 cameras for these people in the front here, and you see how the image is changing slightly. I could use the masking tool, select this keep image button, and I go to this camera, choose that as my dominant camera, and now it's using that as my reference camera. And I can actually see where the stitch lines are with this view, and I can change where the stitch lines actually are. Yep, that's how you do that. So if you have someone who's maybe their head's just going out a little bit over the stitch line, you could use the masking tool to correct for that.
Can you control the feathering or is it?
You can. There is a blend feature, and using the multiband blending will change how You can see that change happening right there. See how the lines are a little bit harder. I can change the way the blending works between the cameras.
What's the default?
The default is at 0.
How you feeling, right?
Oh, I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Great.
I mean, I don't, unless anyone has any questions, I don't know, I don't want to get too, yeah.
So on the cover earlier, I saw a video that if you turned away from the subject, the audio got quieter. You know how that works?
Yeah, that's called positional audio, spatial audio. I haven't personally worked with it myself, but it basically works with 4 tracks of audio that are crossed over, and so it switches over to a different audio track depending on which part of the image you're looking at that time. YouTube currently supports that. It's not a very user-friendly process at the moment. It's being worked on, but it is a technology that if you're interested in exploring, it is out there to play with. It's just not very user-friendly at the moment.
You just put like 4 mics up at the camera.
Yeah, but then you'd have to mix it for the ambisonic and output it for it. And actually, the process of getting ambisonic audio on YouTube is kind of convoluted at the moment because YouTube accepts MP4s, but MP4s from Premiere don't accept the right format. So you would have to export your video as a QuickTime, and then export it as an MP4, and then merge the audio from your QuickTime with your MP4, and then upload to YouTube. So it's not. Yeah, it's not super.
Is color the industry or the prosumer standard?
Color, yeah, I think color, and then there's also Video Stitch. Video Stitch only works on PCs, so this is option for stitching on Macs currently. I haven't. They have a stitching.
I thought
I don't know.
I saw the plugin, but I just looked at it.
If they do, I haven't heard about it. I would be surprised if they did that. It's kind of a beefy application at the moment. So, yeah.
It seems like the proper stitching for the cameras should be a matter of the geometry between the cameras and not the subject matter being shot.
Mm-hmm.
Do the cameras then not have precise alignment when they get fastened into that framework?
How do you mean?
Well, suppose that you could force the cameras to always have exactly the same geometry. And it seems like you shouldn't have to be stitch points.
So,
because
yeah.
The geometry determines it solely.
Yeah, so I think it comes down to being able to, so you can achieve a great stitch for background objects. It depends on how close your subject is to the scene, because the image is changing which parts it's linking in the overlap patterns based on where the objects of interest are. So if I have someone really close to the camera, it's going to change which parts of those images are overlapping to not see those breaks. As opposed to if someone was standing far away, it'll change which parts of that image are linked together to not see those breaks. So I don't think there's a current way to just lock it in to get a perfect stitch no matter what. People make like template stitches that you can use for specific rigs, but it's always going to change depending on where your point of interest is.
We have essentially exposure test patterns for stitching the test pattern first with lines on it, and then
yeah, that's a great idea. If you're trying to get the perfect stitch for a certain distance, putting something up like that at the distance that your subject's going to be, and moving it between the cameras would be a great way to see how your stitch lines are doing in between those cameras and correct for them. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you keyframe where the stitch happens within Z-Space?
You can't keyframe it in Giga. You can keyframe things like your horizon line within video.
Okay.
So if you have a moving camera, your horizon's going to change over time.
Is there a rig like in Nuke or something along those lines? Or you could...
So Nuke has its own in-depth stitching software, Kara VR, where you would be able to, I'm sure you'd be, I haven't worked with it extensively, I've seen little demos of it, but I'm sure they have options to keyframe between shots, yeah. Wait, yeah, that's a great option if you're getting really serious about cinematic VR to export Nuke. Any other questions?
So with this rig, it's cloud-based stitching, so it sounds
like
you don't use the software then,
nope.
right?
Nope. I just upload through an application called the Jump Manager. It goes to the Jump Assembler in the cloud, and it takes, in my experience, it's taken a day to get the footage back. They say, depending on how congested their pipelines are with other people uploading footage, it can take up to 3 days. But yeah, within a day I get a perfect stitch back, and I don't have to go through any of this.
How many minutes of footage are you putting in that's taking a day to get back?
So I shot, let's see, I think we put about 40 minutes in the other day, and it took a day to get it back. And these were 8K files I was getting back to, which were, you know, massive files. So.
So the question, there's no live setup right now that you can actually do the live content streaming of the VR, is there?
There is, yeah, there is. There's different companies that are working on it. I know there's a company in San Francisco, they make a system called Bahana VR, which is a live streaming option. There's a couple of different things out there you could explore. They actually just made, I remember they just came out with a totally mobile package that packs in one case, you bring it with you, not a lot of cables, and you can live streaming within minutes of setting it up for 360.
So, what platform would you go through to actually get it on? Web?
YouTube supports live streaming 360 now, I believe. Or you would have to go get your own server to host your content on and just use your own platform. Yeah, I was interested in that idea for a while back. When I was looking into it, it was not an easy process, but I think there are certain platforms now you can send your content to your live stream. YouTube definitely supports live streaming 360 now, for sure. I always do 360.
Right now, this is the image I'm seeing right here. It's getting kind of dark out here, but that's what you see right there.
Wow.
It's really good. This is very good, very clear. So you know what this means? IMU, and that means it's warming up right now. And we get all the satellites. This thing will kind of come to life here, and it'll actually post an audio message telling me.
The camera is shooting. When you're ready, I have it working.
Okay.
I wonder one of these days we can get this at a football game, at a high school football game. There's probably like regulations that say you can't. You know,
I wouldn't recommend that.
Or a rig at a football game, but yeah.
So we want to fly in here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you able to record it off remotely? No? Oh, okay. Like 5 years from now, we're going to be looking back at this and go, I remember I got excited to see a drone. Now I can't get about bye-bye. You're attracting a crowd. October. Oh, this year. Is this the last Saturday of the month? We're going to do a show from 1 to 3. Okay. Yeah. I want to do it. Right. I can stick around. I would probably, I live like up the street, so I probably still want to take myself
Way to go!
And remind me.
All right.
And remind me.
I want one.
Thank you.
But thank you very much. Yeah, that was awesome. I want to say thank you to people for showing your
Yes. Which one is it?
Phantom 4?
Phantom 4?
Oh, the DJIs.
Oh no, we all miss it.
Remember what I told you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Not, whoops, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
While we were in there, they did taping.
They
go, let's see one of them first.
Oh, that's so cool.
Let's keep hearing all this stuff about it.
Yes.
So you are watching the footage. It has taken the footage.
I don't have the SD card in, but yeah.
Yes, you told me.
And you can actually, there's a feature in the iPad you can turn on, and it'll record onto the iPad as well as the SD card inside the drone too.
Okay.
So you can do a little both actually.
Does that controller come with it?
Yes, yes. You just have to furnish the Android or the iOS device, and then you're all set.
Okay, cool. You are the star.
It flies about 20 minutes, approximately 18 to 20 minutes per battery charge. It has a range of about 3 miles and a good, clear location.
Of course, but
yes.
How is it at night time?
You can fly it at night with a map, but I wouldn't recommend it over congested areas. It's better to kind of go out away from everything because you get